Welcome. We're back, baby. It's a Wednesday, August 9th. Not July, August. Oh, boys, it's good to be back. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the season. We got preseason game number 1 against the Giants coming up this Friday. Nick, I know you'll be there. Great chance I'll be there too. Haven't bought tickets yet, so it's not locked in, but I'm definitely itching for it, trying to make things work. So might see you down there. And if any other, Honolulu Blues fans or just Lions fans want to, say what's up,
I'm going.
Say what's up.
Definitely. And that's what I've been telling everyone on Twitter. And I'm going with my brother who just commented in, Travis. Me and him will be there.
Nick.
So we're excited.
There goes the fire alarm on my house.
Oh, well, if there's a fire, screw the fire. Just do the show. This is fine.
This is fine.
Here, Nick, I'll let you
Okay,
give me
I got you. You figure that out. Stop burning your salmon over there. I don't know what he was about to ask me, but we do have game week going on right now. And I am absolutely and utterly so excited. I've been asking a couple people at work, do you think this game's going to be like, what do we say? Ford Field holds like 60,000 people or something like that.
It's 65 max, yeah.
How many people you think are going to be at this game, if you had to guess?
I say 60.
That's so many for the
first preseason.
Yeah.
That's how hype it is right now, bro.
That's crazy.
I would say yes.
To start. Obviously, to finish, not a lot of people will stick around, but to start.
I think if I recall, there was a preseason game on Monday Night Football against the New England Patriots around the Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson playoff try for the playoff era that was sold out. It was like a regular season game. Yeah.
Is that right?
That's the last time I remember hype.
I think that was like the first Monday night game the Lions had been on in however many, like 10, 15, 20 years, something like that. And it was preseason. I think I do know exactly.
Do they even do Monday night preseason games still?
I think they did them, but now I think they do. I think everyone gets a shot at like a preseason game. I think except for like Amazon maybe, but I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. I'll have to actually look that up. I don't know, but that would be pretty. I don't know. Give me football every day of the week, preseason or regular season. I don't care.
I agree. And we're kind of getting little teasers with some of these like Netflix documentaries, and now Hard Knocks starting up. So, Nick, I guess I can't really ask you about Hard Knocks now, but we'll get there. Once we all watch Hard Knocks, the Johnny Manziel doc, and the quarterbacks documentary, might have to take a little vote on our favorite. Although I doubt we're all gonna vote for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets documentary.
I have seen all 3 of them. Have we all seen Hard Knocks? Julius, have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it, Adam?
Yeah, I watched 50 minutes. I didn't watch the last 10 minutes, but yeah.
So you didn't like it was the Aaron Rodgers documentary.
I hated it. I hated that everyone on the media was like, he looks so happy. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. I was just like, no, this guy we know him. We Detroiters know him. This is all just a show. He came out and said, oh, I was mad about being on Hard Knocks, but it's like, no, you're not. You were thrilled that cameras were going to be on you, that you were going to be a star on the football field. And so just the first 20 minutes, I felt like Aaron Rodgers, everything. Like, is this Hard Knocks or what's going on? It's Hard Knocks last year, at least we saw, inside the coaching room. We saw coaches right off the bat, Calvin Shepard, Deuce Staley, some no-name smaller dudes. And right off the bat for the Jets, maybe it is just because they're Jets a little bit bigger, they go Aaron Rodgers. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with episode 2. But do you guys think they did a little too much with Rodgers or
no, I don't think so. I actually haven't been following too closely Hard Knocks, but I did watch the last episode.
First episode.
Really, yeah. But I don't think I'm gonna stick on it because as you guys know, I got a little busy schedule going on.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not the Lions Hard Knocks,
right.
But I do find myself comparing it to the Lions Hard Knocks when I watch it, and I just miss the Lions Hard Knocks. It was so entertaining. It was the greatest Hard Knocks, and it'll never be the same.
That's exactly right, Julius. This Hard Knocks has me just thinking oh man, I missed this. We were on Hard Knocks. This was so much fun watching this, and now it's just Hey, I guess I'll watch.
So I'm not as critical as you guys of this. I very much enjoyed the episode. I'll talk about the few things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, or not even rubbed me the wrong, just that I didn't enjoy as much. Yes, an immediate 20-minute intro to Aaron Rodgers was getting a bit much, and I've pleaded on this show countless times that I do not like Aaron Rodgers as a human being, like as a person. Like I've read these articles of what he does to people and the way he talks down to people, specifically like women, and it's outrageous, it's egregious, it's terrible. I can't, I do not like it. But this episode kind of had me intrigued by him. I'm not gonna lie, like it was kind of intriguing. It was cool to get a look at Garrett Wilson, and it was cool to get a look at Sauce Gardner. As much as I hate him as well, I do love him from Detroit. Cool to see him go back and get his degree and all that. I mean, everything was about Aaron Rodgers, and I get it. But they brought the voice of God in. They brought the narrator of Hard Knocks in.
That was cool. I like that.
And Rodgers looked like, honestly, the most genuine dude, where it was everyone else wasn't really talking to him. And he was like, you guys need to go talk to him because he doesn't know what to do. I basically wanted him to come here, and now he's here. Everyone go be nice to him. And I really liked a lot of the inside look. One thing I took away is that Robert Saleh seems to be a very negative coach when the game is going on, which if you listen to it while he's at the game, while the game's going on, he says something and Aaron Rodgers is like, you're too negative. And he's like, I'm a negative guy. You're going to have to learn, Aaron. And then later in during the game in the fourth quarter, when the Jets are losing the Browns, Saleh must have said something really negative in the earpiece, and Aaron Rodgers is like, you got to manifest this positive, this victory. You got to manifest it. We need to work on your positive manifestation skills, I guess is what he says, paraphrasing. But so that's something cool and interesting and very little, if you picked up on it, that is going to be intriguing throughout the season, even though we won't be able to see and hear inside. It'll be something to watch for. Michael Carter has always been one of my favorite guys, and I'm very excited to see more of him. Quinnen Williams is a GOAT. He blessed himself and
I
can't
see more of him.
So I want all the Quinnen Williams. Solomon Thomas looked great. Like, I really liked this episode. Ranking the three, which you said we'll get to, but because I've seen them all, I would put it last. I would put Manziel first and quarterback second. The Manziel documentary was very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I'm loving the untold Netflix documentaries like we got with Manti Te'o and we get with Johnny Manziel, which are both hilariously in the same Heisman class. And I was ecstatic. I watched it right before this, and I just was hooked, line, and sinker. I know I'm rambling on about all these shows, but I loved all three of them.
You're making a good pitch, though, Nick. Shout out to my dad who's watching right now. Dad, go watch one of these documentaries. We got Netflix up at the condo. Pop it on for a late night watch. You'll enjoy. But let's talk some Lions, because we did make a little splash last couple days. It seemed like it was going to be bigger news than what it was, but this was still some significant news. But
did you lead to that to make it?
Yes, I.
A lot of people who know I'm with Honolulu Blues, Honolulu, blah, 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 blah. They came up to me and they were like, "Yo, you sent us through the ringer," and I was like, "Whoa, that was not me, dude."
So. I had to play with the fun, you know. I knew there was some news that was going to be happening. I didn't know what. A lot of people were speculating that Jameson Williams' suspension was going to be reduced, which that seemed like a logical answer, especially with the Alvin Kamara getting announced where he could go beat a man and get 3-game suspension. But JMO places a wager at a wrong facility at 6 games. So it's like, okay, how does that make sense? But anyways.
Team Hotel, I think, right?
Hotel, yes. We signed Teddy Bridgewater, so we brought a little extra backup quarterback health. And I know some people might be thinking, what's this mean for Hendon Hooker? Is he still injured? Is he not progressing well? Is he just bad? What's going on? No. None of the above. This is insurance play, depth chart play. This is if Jared Goff gets injured, I want a reliable. And I don't know if I'll have that at Nate Sudfeld. And Hendon Hooker is just too young to rely. So I want a guy that's got experience, that's been there before. And believe it or not, Nick, I manifested it Me and I believe it was Gator is where I heard the first take from months ago that we should go outside Teddy Bridgewater. And sure enough, the Lions go outside Teddy Bridgewater. What were some of your initial thoughts on this?
I don't know. So I've been pretty adamant on the show that a backup quarterback is the least of my worries, and it still is. Teddy Bridgewater compared to Nate Sudfeld, sure, yeah, I do trust Teddy Bridgewater more, but that dude gets injured just as much. So it's I like Teddy Bridgewater, right? I like Teddy Bridgewater. I like him more than Nate Sudfeld. What I don't like is like any kind of hype for him, because honestly, he better not see the field. I do not need this guy seeing the field for a single second. He can take a last second kneel down if he wants to. Jared Goff is our guy. Teddy Bridgewater is what I think he brings is a lot of good experience for Hendon Hooker. I think they are somewhat similar, even though Hooker's got a way better arm and bigger arm.
Their running style is very similar.
And they don't run a lot, and that's what it is.
They don't, but they can't.
Right. And it's very similar. I'm not trying to compare these guys by any means, but like Patrick Mahomes' running style is very, you don't think it's there until it's there, and he gets what he needs. And that's what Bridgewater was doing in Minnesota when they were being very successful, tried to do in Denver. And that's what Hooker will probably do. Hopefully, I've been saying Hooker will be our guy next year. Next year, I want Hooker starting. I've been saying that. And I love Goff, and I want him this year. I want him to be extremely successful and bring us to Super Bowl. And I want us to have this whole idea of like, what should we do? Oh, my God. And that'd be great conversation for all of offseason. But I love Hendon Hooker. And I think that the Teddy Bridgewater signing helps that. I don't think it speaks any kind of doom for Hooker in any way, shape, or form. As you're alluding to, is what people were talking about. Adrian Martinez, he gone. Sorry, buddy. You got like this preseason game to literally throw 4.5 touchdowns in a quarter. You know what?
Practice squad.
Oh yeah. Do we keep quarterbacks on our practice squad? Probably. Yeah.
And I will say it could be that dude that we call up that we're like, hey, we need to prepare for Justin Fields running the ball. You know?
Yeah.
Adrian Martinez. Go crazy.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, so I'm okay with that. But not making a 53-man roster. Nate Sudfeld probably cut, right?
Probably.
He's got to be cut. There's no way we go into this with 4 quarterbacks, or maybe we put Hooker on the practice squad.
Well, there is that new rule where I forget what it is.
It was the Lions rule.
It was the Lions rule. We were the ones that.
What was it that you could have an extra free quarterback?
But they can't be suited, or maybe it was they can only.
I think it's just they're not part of the 53-man roster.
Exactly. Without violating the 53-man roster, so you can carry 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's like having 54 players on your team, but one of them has to be a quarterback, I think, or something like that.
I think you can activate.
He can only play through injury. That's what it is. He can't let's give this third stringer a start. It's he's the last guy we have. You have to play.
Right. They're just trying to avoid what happened in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, with Nick, it's kind of like, Teddy gets injured, Goff, he's kind of.
We aren't even putting that in the air, Adam. We ain't even put Teddy ain't seeing Teddy gets injured. That's on practice. I don't know what to tell you, and that's just practice because Goff gonna be out there 17 games, however many plays all day.
Teddy Bridgewater is an injury-prone player.
Yeah, but he's very smart and lovable.
He got drafted. He was supposed to be a franchise quarterback in Minnesota, and he was made of glass. It got
he almost was. We saw how he could be successful.
I like your point, though, Nick, that he can mentor Hooker, and Hooker can be more prepared. He's an older player. Hooker isn't like some Anthony Richardson 20-year-old kid or something.
Right.
Hooker is a bit older, more mature, already kind of polished. Bridgewater can refine that. I do care about the backup quarterback position because I don't want to be one of these teams that's out there that is 5-1, 6-0, first place in division. Boom, they lose their quarterback and they got to go get Baker Mayfield or something.
Boys, let me tell you a story. I'll bring you back to my day, way back. Adam, I don't even know if you were born yet. There was this grocery bagger, who played in the AFL, and got signed to a team that had the utmost expectations with Trent Green as their quarterback, who goes down in preseason. And here comes this grocery bragger, and Dick Vermeil, who says we will get behind Kurt Warner and he will lead us. And the whole league was like, you should go sign Teddy Bridgewater or anyone of the Jeff George, whoever was alive in 1999. And they didn't, and they relied on Kurt Warner. This is what I'm saying is, like, if you have a good team, I bet the San Francisco 49ers were probably like, Bridgewater probably a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. Everyone who's backing up, but it's like, oh, it's Brock Purdy. He's third string. He won't play. Bridgewater's like good, but we know what Bridgewater is. I've never watched a Teddy Bridgewater game and was like, holy crap, that guy is freaking awesome. Like, he is awesome. He is awesome. I've never done that. Nor have I with Nate Sudfeld. I just don't care that much about the backup quarterback, because if you have a good enough team like San Francisco, you can be a system quarterback. You can have a system quarterback. We just don't understand that, because as Lions fans.
Now, could you imagine if Goff gets injured, Bridgewater comes in, and the offense doesn't skip a beat, and we're like, holy crap, it was Ben Johnson the whole time. Oh my gosh.
I've been saying that this whole time, that it is Ben Johnson. I don't want to give Goff any kind of depreciation because I'm a slappy and I just don't want those words on the internet, but it is all Ben Johnson. That's why I've been saying all offseason that this is our Super Bowl year. You cannot take anything less, because if we have a top 3 offense, Ben Johnson is gone. He gone. He is.
So do we
not
have continuation though? Without Johnson, is it all going to fall apart?
No, because Hendon Hooker is the savior. Hendon Hooker is our guy who can come in. I'm telling you guys, the only reason he slipped as far as he did is because of his age and his injury. But we don't need that. We'll take him for the 6 years where this window is open. And that's.
I'm not sure Hooker is the guy, but I am sure that we have a foundation in the offensive line.
Yeah, well,
that we can kind of, if Ben Johnson leaves, we could still, And offensive weapons we're starting to amass too. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr
How
Gibbs.
good have they looked this?
Sam Laporta, yeah. I mean,
they're looking so good. The weapons are looking so good that we're having not just Big Gretch come out, not just the Pardon My Take gang come out, Barstool Sports, but Marshawn Lynch showed up to training camp.
Beast mode.
Which, okay, love it. It just goes to show, like, 3 years ago, there's no one even caring about Lions training camp. Now you're telling me Marshawn, like, there's something interesting that, either someone said, hey, come here, something, that got him there. And it was something that the Lions haven't had, if ever, or a long time. So those were the 3 that I noticed. Am I missing anyone else? Has there been any other, big names to come through training camp?
I saw Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond were there for the Red Wings. I believe I saw Eminem, but I might be thinking of last year. Honestly, I can't remember.
I think Eminem was there too. I think.
Okay, I thought he was. Yeah, Barry, who obviously I don't know if we were going to touch on this, but I'll jump on it just in case.
How about? Oh my gosh, how about Calvin Johnson, man? How awesome is it seeing him with all these rookies just like in background videos where it's like he might not be the star, but he's in it, and you're like, man, he's been at camp. He's back, babe. He is like 100% back in good graces with the Lions. And it's
because he's awesome. Getting the next statue because Barry's getting the first. Barry Sanders gets a statue approved. How excited are we for that? Like, that's
finally. I'm kind of surprised we haven't had something for at least Barry.
Such a cold statue.
Yeah.
Like his juke he did against the Cowboys in the playoffs. Yeah. That was probably his pinnacle right there.
Yeah, agreed. And then Calvin, he had some good pictures with Snoop Dogg too. If anyone saw those, solid Snoop Dogg pictures. Who stopped at Mom's Spaghetti, which is just awesome. Like you love to see stuff like that. I don't know. So and that's just bringing the fans out. Marshawn Lynch, why the hell is he at the Lions training camp? There is no. Like, if he was there when Calvin and Snoop were there, like, I would be like, oh, he's going to the Snoop concert in Detroit, seeing Calvin, like, it just is what it is. It was just a Tuesday. He was seeing the Giants and the Lions. Like, this is the most bizarre. I was hoping we brought him onto the staff. We got nothing but ex-players on our staff. If we would have brought Lynch on as a running back coach, woo! Oh man, I'm there for that, dude.
That would be insane.
I'd take that too.
Wouldn't that be sweet, dude? Just see Lynch on the sideline getting hyped with the boys like Gibbs and Monty.
As long as he can keep control, right? As long as he don't, do too much. But if he bring that beast mode intensity, it could be similar to like Deuce Staley last year.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know. Obviously, we weren't doing that, but it would be so fun to have him.
Would bring a whole different like persona into the locker room, like just to the team too, which would be very cool to have.
And then it would be really cool because we have if we just go out, you and me, Adam, if we just go out to Birmingham a night, we probably will run into him. So that would be outstanding, and I would love to do that. Skittles market in Detroit would rise quite heavily. Like $2 a pack go to $6 a pack when Lynch comes.
All right, Julius. When I say training camp, what's the first highlight clip, moment, player? Whatever. What's the first thing that pops in your head? Lions training camp.
This year, so far, highlight-wise, I mean, it got to be like either Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had I think the first week of training camp, he mossed Tracy Walker twice in the end zone, but I might be mistaken on that. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been beyond the hype this year in training camp. I probably think defensively, Aiden Hutchinson, man, this guy's unstoppable right now. Like every day I'm reading just reports of his domination in training camp, his domination. The only person that can stand toe to toe with him is Penei Sewell. So probably Aiden Hutchinson and all the Amon-Ra St. Brown domination that I've been watching. It's probably what I'm thinking. Highlights.
I want to just quickly jump back to Hard Knocks. Which, if you watched Hard Knocks, you saw Garrett Wilson versus Sauce Gardner going at it, rep after rep after rep after rep, and they're iron and blah blah blah, and they're like, "We have this great chemistry. We came in together." Blah blah blah. It was a really cool part of the show. That is Penei and Aiden every single day. They are just sharpening iron with each other. He's coming off the left side where he does. Penei's protecting the right side like he does, and it is rep after rep after rep of the best two. That's right, I said it, at their position, and they are only making each other better, and it's so great to see. So I love that you called that a great call out there, Julius. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a perfect correlation right there. My guy that's been standing out to me, Jahmyr Gibbs, man, he has been looking fast. Been preaching this. I believe he's going to be the fastest Detroit Lion. He's going to prove it within the first few games. People are going to think, oh no, J-Mo's still here. He's still fast. But once J-Mo gets back, they'll still think people are going to be like Gibbs. Gibbs is accelerator, but I do think J-Mo has got that long distance speed. Could be completely wrong. Both could just be insanely fast, which is likely the case. But Jahmyr Gibbs, where he burned Ogletree, the top, I believe, top 10 paid linebacker in the NFL. And I mean,
just burn him. Like he, I don't know what a better.
It was nice, man. And it's like, oh, it's training camp. It's a running back versus a linebacker. No. You could put just about like any defender in that position, and Gibbs gets open. Maybe not by that much, but Gibbs gets open. He had like 5 to 8 feet on this linebacker. His feet move so fast. His acceleration and burst is going to be so much fun to watch. Each time I see a tweet, a clip, anything, I get more excited, but also get a little sad because I know that his fantasy values, ADP, is going to skyrocket up by the time I do my redraft with all my buddies, and one of my damn Detroit Lions fans is going to snag him from me. So Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he's going to be a superstar.
I think I saw my dad post something too about what Lions player would be first fantasy guy drafted, and I would say Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I would probably say beginning of second round, end of first. I don't know what his ADP is right now, but
yeah,
probably right around there. But let me answer this fun question, and I'm going to do what Julius did. I'm going to give us an offensive and a defensive player. My offensive player would have been Jahmyr Gibbs, but yanked right in front of me. He has been looking phenomenal. I will pivot and go with Dylan Drummond, who is a wide receiver that maybe no one knows, and that is okay. Learn his name. Dylan Drummond will be on the roster, will be out, is already beating out Trinity Benson. Tom Kennedy waived again. He's beating Denzel Mims won't be ahead of the roster than Dylan Drummond, in my opinion. Like, it won't happen. Khalif, Reynolds, Jamo, Amon-Ra. Those are your 4, and then Drummond will be 5, in my opinion. Watch out for him. If you can find any highlights, I recommend trying to go watch him, especially in his college highlights. Defensively, you didn't take my guy because you didn't give us a defensive guy, Adam, which I thought you were going to, but I got 2. I'll start with the one that is matching up with Dylan Drummond, sharpening iron on iron, and that is Starling Thomas. He has been the darling of training camp so far. He is possibly knocking Jerry Jacobs out of a job. There is a chance that Jacobs doesn't make this roster, which I love. I would hate, and I love seatbelt getting Jerry Jacobs. I need him on my roster, but that's how good Starling Thomas is playing. And he is going up a lot of times in those late reps with like Dylan Drummond. So it's very fun. But honestly, Brian Branch has been phenomenal. We've seen like 3 pass deflections with his game speed outweighing his 40 speed from the combine, which is why I always say, do not take what you see in the underwear Olympics to heart. Just kind of understand what you're seeing. Gameplay is better than underwear speed. And his game speed is great. And if you watch any Brian Branch highlights from training camp, that you'll see him keeping up with whoever, whether it's one of our fastest guys, Khalif Raymond, or the other team's fastest guys. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but he is right there on them all, and it is great to see. I'm very, very, very excited for the preseason game because a lot of people hate preseason games. I'm not watching Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why am I watching this? Because you get to see this Dylan Drummond. If you don't know who I'm talking about, watch this preseason game to figure it out. You'll get to see Starling Thomas. You'll get to see these guys that are battling for their life, for their job, for everything that they've worked their entire life for. It is so fun. It is almost more passionate than a regular season game because these guys know that they have to make the 53-man roster, and they're number 83 right now. And so it's super interesting and fun to watch and see, and I cannot wait. But those are my guys, Dylan Drummond, Brian Branch, and honorable mention, Starling Thomas.
Well, I will say if I had to give a defensive player, it would have been C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The dude has been a menace. Yes, yes, yes. He is our trash talker. We've known this. If you're any type of football fan, just follow the NFL. You know who C.J. Gardner-Johnson is. Ever since he was on the Saints to the Eagles, dude talks trash. Sometimes he backs it up the best. Sometimes he gets burnt. But all I've seen in training camp is he's been backing it up. He's been jawing with Monty O, giving him some crap, calling him soft, which I love. No hate to Monty O. Hope he makes the team, does well over New York. But I want to see that out of my guys. I want the utmost confidence in our players. And that's what I think Chauncey is given to all, the defense. I think he has a great chance to be. It's interesting because there's a lot of players on our defense that could be the captain. There's, Anzalone, who's just been there, Mr. Reliable. There is Hutch, who's the superstar, Mr. Face of the defense. Then there's C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the, defensive backs type of, superstar. And then you got Kirby Joseph, the rising superstar who you could see him becoming, a captain type player. So it's going to be fun, but I do think there will be one player that will be, the captain, the runner of this defense. Not sure who it will be, but man, seeing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in training camp, not injured, knock on wood, it's nice. So as long as we have a healthy training camp, everything goes according to plan, Lions are going to be buzzing come week one.
He wasn't even guarding Amani Aurorier and somehow chirped at him that you're no longer in Detroit because you're soft and you lack grit. That's not paraphrasing. That is the quote that was reported. You're soft and you lack grit, and that's why you're not in Detroit anymore. And I think I was at work when I read that tweet. I just gave it a standing ovation. Like I just at work, no one what's happening. I just stood up clapping. Like just way to be CJJJ. And he is not afraid to talk to the media in the same light. He roasted the media when they tried to say he was injured. He's great. He's great. And he wears his passion on his sleeve and he does not give a fudge. So way to be.
And one last thing, too, on my boy CJ. A couple years ago, he got under the skin of Javon Wims. I've mentioned this before, but he drew a punch to the face. So it's like if you could get under players, an NFL player's skin like that, granted, it's some nobody, but you know he's going to do it to some other guys. It's like if you're not the best, good luck. And not to mention, he's got other superstars around him. So when Kirby gets an interception, you better believe he's going to be shit talking for Kirby too. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Kirby's had a lot of good reports coming out of camp. Like he is zoned in, which is good to hear.
All right, boys. Depth chart talk. We released the official preseason week 1 depth chart. There was a couple little things I noticed, nothing too big. The first thing I noticed was Justin Jackson, RB3. And it's starting to look like Craig Reynolds might be fighting for a spot or might be out of spot. Justin Jackson played great last year. We re-signed him this year, brought him back, and he's just had, a solid training camp so far. So this will be an interesting battle to keep an eye on. Now we know how good Craig Reynolds is in the preseason, so there's no, doubt that he could go off on have a good preseason tear and win this, RB3 job. But as of now, Justin Jackson is listed as the RB3 for the Detroit Lions.
Did we lose Julius? I was looking at the depth chart as you were talking about it, so I didn't even realize Julius gone.
Don't be slandering Craig Reynolds. I'm out.
Yeah. Craig Reynolds slander? No. I quit the show. We're done. I drafted Justin Jackson over Craig Reynolds in our 7-on-7 draft. He is a better running back. In fact, he was a great running back for us last year. Not great. He was a really good running back last year. Did you notice Justin Jackson is not only listed as the third running back on the team, but he's also listed as kick returner. So I think that really gives him the edge. I do think Craig Reynolds will probably be off. Ibrahim, who is our fourth string running back, fifth if you want to add Kabin to the fullback, who made some good headlines early in OTAs or training camp. I don't know if it was training camp, but he'll probably make the practice squad, if anything, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't know if our man Craig Reynolds, who we love and we got to learn a lot about last year in Hard Knocks, and his family and everything, we're going probably to lose him, unfortunately, which stinks. At least he scored a bunch of touchdowns for us, He didn't? Hey, Adam, let us know that stat.
We was one of the few players. I mean, there was probably only 5 that I could think of in the last 20 years that rushed for 100 yards a game. It was like Reggie Bush, Craig Reynolds, Kerryon Swift, and Jamal Williams. So it was kind of impressive that he has a 100-yard rushing game under his belt, but he did not manage to get in the end zone in an NFL regular season game. So you never know. Maybe he bounces around, comes back. But Craig Reynolds, we're rooting for him. Julius, was there anything that, stood out to you on this Lions depth chart?
As far as the running back depth chart is concerned, I'm not surprised with Justin Jackson. I mean, I saw last year that he was very useful as a pass catcher, as a runner, special teams. I mean, he's just like a reliable guy, especially if you go down a running back and you need some help. He's a veteran, you don't really got to worry about him. He's pretty sure. So I'm not surprised by that. Other than that, depth chart wise, I think the offensive line depth is concerning as we stand. Like if we get any major injuries, especially at tackle, it could be some problems. Frank Ragnow, he's been kind of in and out the last few years. Vaitai is a question mark. We do have Glasgow there, but not much else. So that's a little bit concerning. And defensively, I'm just looking at the kind of that middle linebacker spot. And it's kind of crowded with Anzalone and Rodriguez and Derek Barnes, who, by all accounts I'm reading, is vastly improved. He's much more athletic than Malcolm Rodriguez. And then you got Jack Campbell, a big shadow in the back. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the linebackers.
I agree. And while we're talking defense and kind of linebackers, James Houston, that one, he caught my eye. He was kind of falling on this depth chart a bit. He's behind Kaminsky, Charles Harris, and Josh Pascal, which is kind of surprising that Pascal is higher, but maybe, he's just looked great. But I just almost feel like, what are we missing here? Because this dude, when he was on the field, played so well. Sack master just looked phenomenal, was all over Justin Fields. He should be at least, a rotational guy, but he's kind of fallen on the depth chart. So I'm not too worried because maybe Dan Campbell knows, this dude is good for, short plays, not a lot, but if we have him out there, just for 25 snaps, he'll make the most of it, as opposed to if we were to put him out there for 75 snaps, he wouldn't. So not too worried, but that was one thing that did catch my eye on defense. You guys see that too? Any thoughts, Nick? I know you're kind of waiting.
I'm itching to get in.
I know.
We talk all about this depth chart. I'll break it down every position. James Houston, he only played in passing downs last year. We knew that. We know that. We've heard Dan Campbell say all offseason that they're expecting more consistency out of him. And even as of just a report today saying James Houston needs to be more consistent, that needs to happen. He will not see the field as much as we want him to if he is not consistent in reading runs and being able to stop the upfront first and second down. He is a great pass rusher. He is great. He's got a skip. He's got a spin. He's got speed. He's got everything. He needs to get more consistent. Does not surprise me that he's third string. In fact, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up. Look at the flipping depth at our defensive line. And John Kaminsky said this, and I back it up 100%. He said our second line is better or is just as good as our first line. And that's so true. When our second line is going to be better than 30 other teams' front 3, 4, that's nasty. We can come in so many different packages. We have Houston listed as third defensive end behind Josh Pascal. Pascal's going to play more inside than he is on the outside. The only reason I'm listing as outside is because Levi's starting to come forward, and Broderick Martin is getting all of the praise that a third rounder could get that we didn't even know. We were like, Brad Holmes, what are you doing? But it's the same thing with Malcolm Rodriguez and James Houston and Demonra St. Brown. He's just a goat at drafting, and Broderick Martin is not going to shy away from the spotlight. It's going to be Bugs McNeil up front with Broderick Martin. So the defensive line depth chart is outstanding. Charles Harris starting, Derek Barnes starting. Not only is he, but Julia said, really having these rave reviews during camp, he is listed as the starter over Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Maben. He is, if he is good enough to beat those guys out, this is the Derek Barnes Julius was talking about when we first started this show.
Yeah, I was just about to say, remember a few years ago?
Oh, I'll never forget.
Yeah, we were talking about him like he's a future Hall of Famer.
Well, not we, you were talking about him like you. Don't be lumping me in with it, but maybe he's starting to look like it.
Well, he took a step back last year, and then Malcolm Rodriguez came on the scene, and now we got Jack Campbell. But boom, here come Derek Barnes again. Hey, I'm not complaining.
Look at our backup linebackers. Our backup linebackers with Malcolm and Campbell are probably better than whoever else is watching that's not a fan of Lions. Your linebackers, we have. Unbelievable. Then the biggest thing, Emmanuel Mosley, last at cornerback. Hasn't been to practice yet.
Is that because of his injury, or?
I think so, but he still is listed as last, and that's not good. If you can't play, if you can't play, you know what I mean? You're not gonna have a job if you can't play. So he's got to get out there. But Jerry Jacobs listed as a starter. Seatbelt gang wanted to shout that out. Also, Big V listed over Graham Glasgow as a starter. Everything that I've mentioned in regards to Derek Barnes and Rodriguez and Campbell, We get to see Jack Campbell play football on Friday. We get to see probably the Okora and Levi Onzawerke and Iffy, all of these guys that we like are just Savion Smith and everyone and anyone that's on this depth chart except for the starters are about to be playing, and that is going to be so fun. Sure, we'll see guys like Khalil Dorsey, who is the guy who knocked out our man Shane Zylstra. Shane, thank you. But we'll see like Stephen Gilmore, who's been getting a lot of attention. We'll see guys like Brandon Joseph. We'll see guys that we Romeo Okora is listed last of the defensive ends. Like, he's going to be playing for his job. He is playing for his job. That is crazy to think about, that we have so many defensive ends that Julian and Romeo Okora might not make the roster. That's crazy. And I cannot wait to see those guys do everything they can on Friday to leave it all out. I don't care if we win or lose. I care about seeing these players give everything they have, because they know this might be the last stint in the NFL for them. You never know. You know what I mean? I would never wish that, and I doubt that is the case, but you'd never know what's about to happen. They're going to give it everything they have, and that's going to be so fun to watch. Cannot wait.
One thing I will say, Nick, that I just noticed that might clear up a bit of this Emmanuel Mosley question marks. Hendon Hooker listed as the QB4. Adrian Martinez was listed above him. So maybe this is an injury. Like, no, these guys are injured, so they're, put them at the end.
Last on the depth chart. They're not playing. Right. That's 1,000% what it is. But yeah. And I'm not trying to read too much into Emmanuel Mosley being listed last. Like, we obviously went out and got him, but we got him knowing that he is injury prone, coming off of an injury, and this is not his first injury. And we've heard it from Dan Campbell that I feel like he's starting. It was the same kind of tone I heard when he was talking about Levi Onzawerke last year. Like, bro, you gotta play. And if people ask him, he's not playing. And Dan Campbell's getting upset, and Jerry Jacobs and Starling Thomas and Stephen Gilmore are taking his job. They do not care what the payment was. Ask Amon-Ra St. Brown and Brashard Perryman, or whoever we signed the same year, and Tyrell Williams. He don't care who we signed. Trinity Benson, he traded for him. If someone's better, someone's better. Ask who was our backup linebacker last year. That
freaking ask the 49ers and their quarterback situation.
Yeah, right. Who was our backup that we drafted in the first round last year? And didn't we bring him back, and he ended up being a backup linebacker because our guy Malcolm Rodriguez beat him out. We saw it in Hard Knocks. I can't remember what.
Jared Davis.
Jared Davis, exactly. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter where you're drafted, what you're being paid. If Jerry Jacobs, Starling Thomas, and Stephen Gilmore are playing better than Emmanuel Mosley, who isn't playing, so yes, they are playing better than him, and guarding the likes of Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and they're keeping up with them, sorry, Mosley, I don't care. Out of sight, out of mind. That's something to just – I'm not saying he's going to be cut by any means, but I don't know. Something to watch. Julius, be on and off, man.
I know.
Adam, take it away.
Now. One last thing. Sam Laporta already jumped James Mitchell. He is getting his respect, I do believe. Yeah. Come week 1. Maybe not week 1, but by week 4. I think Laporta will be the starting tight end. Maybe even by week 2. I think he's right on Brock Wright's butt on having this number 1 job. But Brock Wright, he's here. He's the veteran, kind of, even though he's not even that old. But he did help us out, especially in the Jets game last year. And, was a solid blocker overall and had a couple other impactful games. So I think it's kind of his job to lose. But Laporta, when he gets his opportunities, and we're going to see more and more and more in the preseason, it's going to be hard to not get him on the field as much as you can.
Is it wrong or spicy for me to say I don't want Laporta on the field that much this year, unless it's like a 2 tight? I think Brock Wright knows our offense a lot, right? Okay. And I don't know about you, but other than Jeremy Shockey in 2000, a rookie tight end, I guess Kyle Pitts did really well, but that was a different story.
I know, with all these rookie tight end talk.
Rookie tight end, I just don't care. Like, I just don't care about Sam Laporta this year. His 382 yards and 3 touchdowns aren't going to excite me that much. I'm so sorry. It's just not. Brock Wright, knows our offense and knows how to block and knows how to get open and knows what Jared Goff likes. And what have I said time and time and time and time again on this show? Goff needs his relationships. And I know the reports, Eric Schlitt is putting this out, Jeremy Reisman, Jeff Risdon, every reporter is putting out, it's Sam Laporta season. Guys, you just can't buy into the hype on these rookie tight ends. You just can't. And I hope he's great. And I hope I'm wrong. To me, I don't care that much about Sam Laporta this year. I care a lot about Sam Laporta in year 2, especially year 3, and then 4 and moving forward is when he's going to just bloom. But right now, he's a little seedling. You need to water that seedling. Like, if anyone plants, you got to let that grow. It's going to bloom. It will, but don't expect it in year 1. Do not boo him in year 2 when he makes 2 drops in year 1. Do not get over your freaking heels because he's not the Travis Kelce year 1. Like, temper all expectations. 350 yards, 3 touchdowns at ceiling. Other than that, let Brock Wright do him. This is the year to go win the Super Bowl. Next year with Hooker and Laporta, that's the year to really build for the dynasty. Right now, we're just trying to get our foot in the flipping door. Let's keep who we know, what we know, and keep it where it should be. So I'm sorry if that's spicy or not a good take.
Honestly, Nick, you kind of sold me there. Like, I'm kind of agreeing with you now that you put it that way, where I do think relationship matters more than kind of a little bit more of explosive player. And I agree just this year, because the next 2, 3, 4 years, Laporta could be a difference maker. But
Laporta needs to be the starting tight end with at least 700 yards minimum. He needs to be TJ Hawkinson, hopefully better. But we took Hawkinson with the 8th pick of the first round. Well, I mean, it's hard to say because Hawks the 3rd best tight end in the league right now. Who's better? What are we saying? Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and then you're gonna argue Darren Waller, George Kittle, sure.
Say Dallas Goedert.
Would you say he's better than TJ Hawkinson? I don't know. I just would say that Hawkinson's in the argument for, okay, we'll say top 5 tight end in the league. It's just hard to be a tight end. People want to make the tight end position a sexy pick, a sexy position because it's in fantasy. It is a complete opposite, dude. Like, good tight ends are like Hunter Henry and like these guys that like you're just not gonna get yards. Stop. And fans that watch football only care about statistics most of the time. The most casuals care about statistics and big plays. And if Laporta's not doing it, then they don't care about Laporta. But if he's blocking for Jahmyr Gibbs to have this explosive play and getting no credit for it, whatever. That's good. That's what we want. Like, I don't care what these yards and stuff, and we're gonna end up booing them. It's gonna be super annoying. So yeah, Laporta in year 2, 3, 4, be what Hawkinson is, 700 yards, 4 to 7 touchdowns a year, block really well. You do not need to be Rob Gronkowski. We don't need Rob Gronkowski. We have Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. The Patriots had Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. Like, they didn't have anyone. You know what I mean? That's why he was that good. Like, he was the reason they were good, because Brady knew he was the best receiver on the team. We don't need that out of our tight end. We just don't. So, Laporta. It's been an argument I've had with a lot of fantasy people this year. Everyone's like, Scott Fishbowl. Everyone wanted Laporta, and I was like, "Yo, I drafted him way too early. You are crazy."
Simmer down.
He's going pretty high in dynasty. In dynasty drafts, he's going pretty higher than
fair.
Yeah, and Gibbs as well. He's also getting hyped up.
That's fair too. Both of those are fair for dynasty. I like the tweet you sent out, Adam, about the dude who bet on Hooker. What did they bet though? What was the bet?
Insane. He was only $25, but not to win Offensive Player of the Year, not to win Rookie of the Year, to win MVP. He bet.
That's just who would you ever have you ever thought about taking a 20 and a $5 bill and just lighting it on fire?
This guy was thinking, oh my gosh, I got such plus 25,000. Look at these odds. Likely not going to hit, but look at these odds.
How much money is he going to win if that hits?
I can't do the math, but a lot.
A lot, yeah. I don't know. What if it does hit?
It would be 125,000.
What if we're in February talking about how Hendon Hooker shocked the world after week 6
Jared
and
Goff.
threw 4 touchdowns a game and won MVP
Great
after
greatest
playing in
song
11
first.
games?
That would be insane. I would
We'll
have
go
to
back to
go
that.
to that dude's
Yeah.
Super Bowl party because it would be insane.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
But anyways, it's like, buddy, go buy yourself $25
Yeah.
of Mega Millions tickets. Have yourself
Yeah.
a shot at that 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Granted, winning ticket was sold in Florida, but hey,
Who cares? His odds. If that's what he
Yeah.
cared about, his odds.
exactly. your percentage was pretty damn near similar. So,
Yeah, definitely.
all right, boys, we got game 1 this Friday. It seems like it has came so fast. So before we get out of here, gotta ask you guys, how excited are you? And Nick, we know where you're going to be watching. So Julius, where are you going to be watching? It's going to be a little bit trickier for you now that you're in Texas. Well,
Not for long though.
it'll be even harder.
It's gonna be real hard when you move to where you move. But that's anyways. Where are you watching?
Hey, but yeah, right now it's pretty easy. I'm gonna be watching it at 6 p.m. Central on Friday. It's actually my last day of my current job before my next job. So
You're gonna be drinking your ass off.
I'm
Golly.
gonna enjoy. It's gonna be a great day.
Get a sick bottle of scotch, dude. Really aged scotch or a nice bottle of cognac or a real nice like bottle of champagne and treat yourself, dude.
I'll keep that in mind.
All your first preseason game and the last day of work.
Win or lose, I don't even care. I'm just happy to watch this team that is so hyped up, that is so exciting. Like you mentioned, Nick, we're not gonna see none of the starters, but I still got a whole list of guys I'm gonna be looking out for. I mean, all the reserve running backs. I mean, the tight end room, all the rookie. We might see. I doubt Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm sure they might get a couple snaps.
J-Mo definitely.
J-Mo definitely.
Here's if we can all see. J-Mo snaps 8 Adam, 20 Julius, 0 Nick. So
but I'm looking for like a Dylan Drummond breakout game. I'm looking for like a Starling Thomas breakout game. Antoine Green. I mean, Fontu Malafalu. The Okrar brothers fighting for their job.
Levi Onzawerki.
We ain't seen him in like 8 years. So it's a lot of stuff to look forward to. I'm almost looking forward to this game like a regular season game, just not with the same win or lose emotion.
Me and Adam were talking about that.
More of like seeing. Yeah, I know I popped out of there for a second. I probably missed it, but more of like just seeing the Lions, the team, just seeing the team, the logo, all the players. It feels regular season like, and this is different. I've never felt this before, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, Adam and I were talking before the show. It was we were like, we should just do the show like it was before week 1, and just like what were the 3 key keys to victory or whatever would be like. But
peak performer of the week,
right? The peak performer of the week, yeah, right. Oh, we get to bring that back next week.
We're bringing it back, man.
Oh, I forgot about our peak performers, and preseason peak performers are gonna be so fun. Preseason peak performers, the PPP, triple P. I cannot freaking wait for this game. I can't wait. I'm gonna be at it.
Gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, I should be.
It's gonna be lit.
I bought my ticket already. Me and my brother are going. I have a couple friends that are going to be there. We'll see if we can meet up. The last preseason game I went to, there was like, I don't know, 85 people at the entire game to start it, and let it just dwindle down from there. So I was kind of expecting that, but the more I think about it, the more I hear about it, I'm like, oh, this is about to be packed. Like, it's about to be a freaking electric preseason game. And I do not care about seeing great long touchdown drives and 80-yard touchdown passes, and sure, those would be great because that means we'll be, our backups are doing successful. But what I care about is just seeing the trenches, hearing the pads pop, hearing the crowd noise. Yeah, we're back, dude. Like, I'm not trying to rush summer, but fall is coming, boys. It's here. It is here, and I cannot wait, dude. The Lions are about to be so electric this year. We may not ever lose.
I 100% agree. Now, Nick, big question for you. You could be repping the Honolulu Blues shirt? Because if I go, definitely got to bust it out.
It's a solid, good question. I was thinking about that, and I did plan on repping the Honolulu Blues shirt over a jersey, I think, is what I was
Okay.
thinking about
Like
doing.
it.
Um,
And
What about
honestly,
you,
that
Ed?
might work well because you might get the numbers to kind of come through in the name.
the shirt's a little see-through, but it's still a great shirt. I recommend everyone to wear it. Buy it, $25. But it would work well with a jersey under it, I think, as I just poke my eye out.
All right, boys. And finally, who scores the first touchdown of the preseason, regular season, NFL season, whatever you want to call it?
Well,
The
which
first
one?
game for the Lions. Who scores the first touchdown? Likely going to be a backup. Not, I mean, it would be kind of sweet if it was like a 60-yard
J-Mo?
stud. Yes.
I
Oh
wasn't
my
going to say
God.
it, but I was thinking it.
That would be insane. I'm going to take your prediction, Nick, and go with, I think it's going to be Dylan Drummond. I think he's going to be all over the field, trying to just go so hard to earn this opportunity. And I think we're going to see a similar Tom Kennedy-esque performance where he gets, 100-yard game, a 2-touchdown game, just a big performance game. So I'm going to go Dylan Drummond. Going to be keeping that hype train going and scoring the first touchdown for the Lions.
Love it.
Like
Julius?
it. First touchdown in this preseason game will come from Craig Reynolds.
Damn you. Oh,
'Cause
no.
he's a
That's
dog.
okay. Good.
Craig
Yeah.
Reynolds is a dog, and he's especially dog in preseason. So I can definitely see the goal line 2-yard power through Craig Reynolds. My pick.
I'm gonna make a quick audible. My whole thought process throughout the whole time Adam was talking, and then Julius, who I thought you stole my guy, but you didn't. I just wasn't listening well. It was Justin Jackson. That's what I was thinking. It's gonna be the first drive. We'll get it down. Or maybe second drive, and Justin Jackson will be the one to pound it in. But I'm gonna switch it up. And after I just talked a bunch of shit about him, I bet Sam Laporta catches the first touchdown pass or first touchdown for the Lions of the preseason. It's just the first full touchdown. It will be from Nate Sudfeld. It will be on the second drive, and it will be an 8-yard touchdown.
Oh, I like
Put
it.
it in the
Very,
book.
very descriptive.
Play action, shotgun.
Shotgun, play action, third down, third and goal.
It's going to be one of those third and goal on the 8-yard line.
8-yard line. Mm-hmm.
And Craig Reynolds in the backfield. Dylan Drummond wind up outside.
Sam
You
Laporta.
get a little play action.
Where's it
We're
gonna
gonna
go
see
to?
Drummond run a crisp, clean route. I'm going to be like, yeah, he's open. And Laporta's just going to be wide the hell open, Shane Zylstra style.
I was even thinking as you're saying that, you know what's really going to happen is the same situation you just said with all three guys out there. And Nate Sudfeld is going to rush it for 8 yards. And we'll be like, what the fuck?
We're all wrong.
That was annoying.
Exactly.
But I'll be cheering and I'll be loud at the game. Yeah. Go Lions.
Go Lions. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues or individually at Nick Favorite NFL for Nick, the fifth top for Julius, and myself. We will see you guys all next week. Or I don't know what I'll say. We'll see you guys next week coming off of a solid first win with Dylan Drummond, Sam Laporta, or Craig Reynolds punching it in. It'll be one of those guys.
Go Lions.
Go
Lions.